Hello, this class we are going to learn about the lesson Jonathan Livingston Seagull, written by Richard Patch. He was born on 23rd June 1936, was an American novelist and pilot. Jonathan Livingston Seagull is a novella written in 1970. He has written several books of fiction such as Gift of Wings, Illusions, Adventures of Reluctant Messiah, and non-fiction related to flying. Majority of his books are about flying that shows his great passion for it. Most of Batch books have been semi autobiographical, using actual events from his life as well as philosophy that our physical limits and morality are only the appearance. So, here we are going to learn the summary of the lesson. The novella Jonathan Livingston Seagull is a story of seagull's journey who aspires to fly faster and higher than any other seagull, trying to be different from the flock and in the desire of flying faster and higher. Jonathan is banished from the flock while the flock adheres to the coastlines and the fishing liners. From this point, his spiritual journey begins. The novel has been divided into three parts. The first part deals with Jonathan's recognition of himself to be able to fly faster, higher, and lower than any other seagull of his flock. After achieving one goal, he goes for the second. However, his flock as well as his mother wants him to be the noble seagull, yet something was motivating Jonathan from within to be more than normal. Typical Cull. He recognizes his potential to accomplish more and he wishes to fly above the clouds recklessly. Eventually, his flock cast him out because of his unusual adventures, deeming him an outcast. At the end of part 1, Jonathan meets a pair of turned seagulls. They take him to a place where all other seagulls practice flying like him. All of them introduce themselves as his brothers together, flying off into the sky that was perfect dark. Jonathan, in the second part of the novella, believes himself to be in heaven by realizing that he is flying more easily and higher than ever before. He lands with the other girls on the beach. When his companions leaves him, there he meets Julian, a magnificent girl. Later, Jonathan works with his magnificent girl, who teaches him lessons in spirituality along with flying. Julian tells Jonathan that he is one of in a million bird and explained to him how the bird arrived at the beach. Eventually, Jonathan meets elder girl Sagai. The idea what whenever you seek something, the thing comes to you is best explored in the novella. When Jonathan seeks a teacher, the teacher is there for him. Whenever Jonathan attempts to do something new and study for it, it arrives, be it in his opportunity to work without the flock or his need for a spiritual teacher. The third part of the novella, Jonathan starts teaching Fletcher Seagull, accepting him as his student. While having their flying lessons, some outcast seagulls also join them. He reassures his students to fly back to their flocks beach, realizing that he must go back to his flock. Ultimately, the flock that abandoned him earlier starts searching for him so as to learn from Jonathan and his student Fletcher. Both of them display their skill, and gradually the flock members start taking part in the lessons. Jonathan, however, goes too far in encouraging Fletcher to fly too high and too fast that result in Fletcher's crashing into cliff. Yet he does not die. Shocked, the flock consider Jonathan a devil and attempts to kill him. After the adventures, both Jonathan and Fletcher argue on love and conclude that to see the good in everyone is real love. Jonathan disappears after realizing that he is no longer needed as a teacher and lets Fletcher continue his work. The physical and spiritual growth of Jonathan is eventually in the novella that enables him to forgive the flock that abandoned him and so leave behind a wise seagull in his place. This is very small gist of the summary of the lesson.